Are you for or against it?
The backup singer gets a call up to the front row.
Oh,
Well,
it's
some may say he's off the bus now. He's off Ivan's bus, so there's a reference back to Tigers. I just want to take away from the hate I have from the person Jarome Luai has become, and flash back to the Jarome Luai that burst on the scene when Nathan Cleary was unavailable in Origin, I believe. He come in and played halfback, and we thought, how good is this kid going to be as a 7? If he goes to the Tigers, I don't know if he wears 6 or 7, it's going to be his team to control. He's proven he can do that back in his early days. I just think he might have been too reliant, obviously, on Nathan Cleary now. Be interesting to see if he can control the team around. Look at the grand final last year. They don't win that grand final if he stays on the field. I want to quickly clarify, there is no love lost between the Tigers and Penrith. We know that, obviously, from what happened with Cleary. The disrespect they've shown here by putting him in the Blues jersey where he spent the last however many years is absolutely...
No. It's not that. You know what's actually happened? Because I thought the same thing, but I researched it.
It's Coruscant.
No, Penrith complained. So the original post that got deleted was they photoshopped Luai in West Tigers colours.
Yeah.
And Penrith kicked up a stink about it. So then West Tigers have gone, stuff you, we're not doing it in Penrith jerseys, and they've gone ahead and did it in New South Wales jerseys. So there is, as you said, there is a bit going on between these two clubs, and I'm all for it. I love it.
In their alternate jersey as well. So not their sky blue, it's in their dark blue one that is closest to black that they can. And I just love that he's hugging Coruscant. It's just another sort of...
When do these two play each other?
Hopefully it's early, because there will be a bit of spice, I feel like, in this one. But back on this signing, I have to say that I did a post for a for and against, and there's been people going making their points and trying to read. And as you said, sort of, Adam, I'm trying to take away from what I think of what Luai is as well. But it's so hard to do that when he's become what he has become. And I just think the West Tigers don't know what they're getting themselves in for. I think he is a lot of work now. He's not the player he used to be when, as you said, he was a young kid coming through, maybe playing that halfback role. They've signed him for a halfback role. Let's make that clear. They're not signing him to play 5'8" for a second string to a youngster coming through. He needs to take control of this team and make it his own. I just don't think he can do that week in, week out at NRL level. I don't think he's shown that he can do that yet. I think Penrith obviously have Nathan Cleary. It's always been the Nathan Cleary show. Whatever he says goes. And I just don't know if this was the signing they needed. They've got some good young kids coming through the Tigers. I actually felt like before this signing, they were starting to get somewhere as a club, and they were starting to make some good moves off the field. And now I just feel like this signing is actually going to set them back a little bit, because now this is quite a bit of money. They're going to have to get rid of probably a couple of kids who won't sit in the halves anymore. I actually think they needed to save this money and use it for a couple of outside backs. I think they're really quite weak in the outside backs. So I'm just so surprised and shocked that I think this just shows how desperate of a club West Tigers is at the moment. They're that much of a basket case that they basically have just done whatever they can to get this guy, land in quotes, a big name player. I just don't see it ending well.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's a last sort of roll of the dice. But if Luai can bring that championship mentality, so we've all discussed that we don't really particularly like him as a person. I don't know him though, so I can't really comment on that too much. But just his off-field antics make you kind of go, he might be a bit of a dill. But if he can bring the attitude towards, maybe he's one of the, I don't know how he trains. I dare say he's probably one of the best trainers at the club. If he can bring that sort of winning attitude there, work alongside Appy, get a couple of the young fellas under his arm and really work them. And if he dominates this team, as you said, he's going in as the 7. It's going to be his team. It has to be his team. But they also fall under the Ponga curse, where you've put all your money into one player. You have to offload a lot of players. So they're shopping around Clemmer like no tomorrow. Like no one wants him. But they're working really hard to try and free up some money everywhere just to make sure that they can at least sign another 1 or 2 under Jarome. But if he can bring that sort of Penrith winning mentality, then might turn a couple of things around, and that's just putting a positive spin on it. But realistically, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he comes in.
Can we just highlight that? If you're being shopped around from the Tigers, you know it's time to go to the Super League. There's my first one of the year, guys. My first one of the years. Can we just quickly say, though, is there a chance that he goes this year? Because there's obviously some remarks made that he's taken personally by Cleary. And everyone knows that when Cleary pretty much, I can't remember the exact remarks, but obviously it was highlighting something about him not being able to do it by himself or whatever. There's obviously going to be problems there. And there's already problems being created. Like, I'm in a couple of Penrith supporters groups because I go in there for lols. And some of the stuff that's been posted already, they're turning on this bloke. And I think that by all reports, he's a decent bloke off the field. But I'll tell you this much, the arrogance he has around the club and he has on the field, there could be issues there for Penrith that could derail their season if he just wants to be lazy about it. Like, what's he got to prove there? There's nothing to prove. They've won 3 in a row. Obviously, they could bring 4 in the row and be the first team to do that since St. George did back in, obviously, that 60s or 70s run, whatever it was. But I'd be letting him go straight away if I was Penrith, if the Tigers can fit him in and starting to bring through that next person.
Yeah.
And Cleary has shown that he can do it.
The water. And they're on a good thing at Penrith. Like, they're on a really good thing. They have a really good opportunity here, and you don't want to poison the water. And it looks like, and it sounds like Jarome could be that poison. So I'm kind of with you there, Adam. Like, I don't know if there's enough to squeeze out of there for Jarome to give it 110% when he's going for a lot of money to another club next year, and you don't want that to affect the club.
Yeah, and let's be honest about it. Let's call a spade a spade. In 2023, he didn't have a very good season. He should not have had his New South Wales jersey. He shouldn't have had it for the first 2 games. And for the majority of the year, he was, and especially the back half, he was a passenger carrying injuries and the like. And I think Nathan Cleary showed Penrith. I know you want to have that 5'8" there to help him along, but Nathan Cleary has shown he can do it himself. Like, he's that good at the moment in that purple patch. Like, you don't want to put all your eggs in that, obviously, injury and something that happens to Nathan, but they've got kids coming through that nursery like no tomorrow. They're going to help, and it's probably the best time to bring in some of those kids where Nathan can play with them and bring him in for the next couple of years and really have that future for that nursery coming through, that bright future for Penrith. It's just, I would not be surprised. I think, Adam, you're on the money there. I would not be surprised if this starts heating up now. We start seeing some headlines coming out in the next few weeks, and he could be there. He could be honestly there by round 1. Like, the more you think about it, the more it could be a reality. Like, even when he came out and did that weird press conference the other day, he even was still talking about that Ivan Cleary, those comments and stuff. Like, it's still burning him in some way. And the type of character he is, I don't see him going up to Cleary, shaking his hand, going, let's just get through this year. Like, there'll be little digs and stuff. There'll be little, there'll just be awkwardness. And it can't be healthy for that club, especially the winning streak that they're on and the greatness level that they're on as well as the club.
Before we move on, can I highlight one more thing? Obviously, they play each other on April 20th in Carrington, Bathurst. The people of Bathurst, if Jerome's there, it's obviously going to be huge. Who's the next to leave Penrith? Because we've seen a pretty big exodus now. And obviously, when you bring all these good players here, you can't afford to keep anyone.
Leota.
I was about to say, it's got to be a forward.
I think he's already re-signed Leota.
Yeah. I reckon it's going to be Tahoe, to be honest. All his best mates seem to be moving. Yeah. Like, Crichton's gone to the Dogs. Obviously, Luai's gone to
Brian.
Tigers.
I love Brian.
Yeah, I think everyone would take Brian, to be honest. We need a winger so that actually can run and not be scared. But that's a good like. Jeremy, how'd you do that?
I didn't.